good morning, good afternoon, and good night.
What's greetings, Earth?
Same genius time.
In the demographic I identify with.
I don't believe you murder.
I think an ignorant voter and a non-voter
He took the military out
are one and the same.
the civilians.
Same genius channel.
Under his watch.
What
Know
has
something,
he done
bro.
about police reform in this country? Nothing.
Greetings, Earthlings, and welcome to Unsolicited Genius. I am your curator, Carlton Ennis. I am joined today by the militant yet participant, Craig Lindo. On today's show, we will talk about Drake versus Kendrick, an NBA status update, and we will give out toasts to the greatest roast of all time. We hope to give you something to ponder. Brother Craig, he said, "What is up, my man?"
Better men than me have said, yo, I'm between sky and earth and not trying to touch dirt, and I'm in that same place. Abracadabra, amen, so mote it be.
All right.
And I'm still sitting here through these rose-colored lenses. Shout out to those who know, because when I blew fire, they be like, and like one love. That's what's up.
Shout out to the bros. Shout out to the bros. So before we hop into the rest of the show, what's on your mind today?
Man, a little bit of everything. Look, it might sound corny. I'm in the simplest state of gratitude. Maybe I am just happy to be on the top side of the soil, where it is more, yeah. I'm happy to be on the top side of the soil. That's it.
Happy to be alive.
Yeah, man.
That's where we are. All right. Well, I dig it.
I ain't tripping.
Well, I got something on my mind today.
Run it.
It's from the internet. Maybe give or take a week or so, if that long. There's been a trending topic, hashtag man versus bear. Are you familiar?
I saw a few clips. A little on TikTok, a little less on Instagram, but I saw some clips.
So the premise is for a woman, two women, I don't know where the source is, but two women, would you rather be in the woods alone with the bear, in the woods alone with the man? Right? Bear versus man. Who would you choose? Several women gave heartfelt responses as to why they would choose the bear. I saw something that they did a percentage of 60% of women, I think it was Daily Live or one of the daytime shows, they did a poll. 60% of women said that they would choose a man, but 40%, give or take, said that they would choose the bear. In this hashtag, in this question, it became viral for one, the list of reasons women gave why they would choose the bear, but also because of the man response to the women. Responses including, or related to the fact that it would be asinine to think that your chances of survival with a bear are better than they are with a human male. So I bring it to discussion because there is an obvious reality to the question, because bears are vicious. What's the movie our boy did, Leonardo DiCaprio, maybe Irreverent, I think was the title, and he had a bear scene, and that thing was vicious. So none of us should really want it with a bear. But at the same time, to understand the viciousness of a bear, what the women were attempting to articulate is a reality that men are dangerous, and that there's things that in relating to men that aren't necessarily as out there. Their danger isn't as obvious as the danger is with the bear. That the man may pretend or portray or project a thing, but it's not until you get alone that you see he got abuse issues. It's not until you reject him that you see his vitriol. It's not until you're walking to your car that he murders you, right? These are all things that happen in domestic and men-women relations. So that's the background of it. I'll, give you a chance to react to it and share additional thoughts that I have. But you saw a few highlights, a few posts. What's your thoughts, your reaction to man versus bear?
If you didn't know me and you didn't love me, I would think you're baiting me.
Take it how you,
like so.
You get it
so
how
that's
you
my
live.
initial reaction. I was like,
no bait.
If I heard this question from somebody that I didn't have this relationship with, I'd be like, who do you work for? Are you a Fed?
I am not.
That's crazy.
I am not.
Exactly. So, okay. I'm going to ask you, because I'm going to go word for word. Repeat the question one more time.
The question is, two women, if given a choice, alone in the woods, would you prefer to encounter a bear? Would you prefer to encounter a man?
Okay. So besides what I mentioned before is my initial reaction, right? Think about everything in that question. Man versus bear. And you'd feel safer choosing bear. Either you're Snow White or you have daddy issues.
What?
Okay.
Issues.
I'm an amateur psychologist, so you don't have daddy issues, but you're a flag. You're a flag.
Why?
You choose. So, because here's what it is. And I think you mentioned a 60-40 split. So let's talk about that 40 that would choose the bear. I'm willing to say that there's a percentage of them that's 4 out of 10. There is a number out of that 4 that's just being comical. If you're not being comical, you have major issues, and I would guess they're daddy related, abandonment, or attachment related daddy issues. Ta-da, you're a flag.
So what about, 60% said they choose a man, so let's hone in on the 40. So in that 40, you're suggesting they're either comical or just clueless, right? They may literally think all bears are cuddly and they choose the bear.
Right.
So
see, I love you. You said clueless. I didn't say clueless. I said daddy issues.
I'm saying specifically. So let's clarify, because I think for the percentage,
and maybe that's in there too.
For that 40%, maybe there's somebody who legit thinks that bears can be cuddly. But to your point, where you say the women are being comical, I would use a different word than comical, because I think what I've seen, what I've read, is women who have had those experiences, from sexual assault to physical assault to, if a woman they know being murdered by a man that they trusted. So the response isn't
respect.
The response isn't, I truly believe I'm safer with a bear, I think some of those responses recognize the reality of the bear, but also chose this as an opportunity to articulate about
Okay.
the dangers
Okay.
of men.
Okay. 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 I accept that.
Because I'm
I
looking at
accept that.
this, I'm looking at one post that says, things people will never say if you survive a bear attack. What were you wearing? What were you drinking? The bear has always been nice to me. Don't report him. You could ruin his reputation. Are you sure you said no?
Chill out, bro.
Did you lead the bear on? So it's loaded, right? It's loaded. And I think to your point, you said it, it felt like you were being baited. And you weren't, but I'm curious as to why or what the anger, the agitation is in the male's response predicated on the perspective that I just shared with you. You any thoughts there?
Clarify for me. I'm not sure I understand what you're asking me.
Well, this riled up the men. The men saw this and said, all sorts of things came out, about the women being stupid and not understanding, and why would you choose the bear? And I honed in on the fact, kind of missing the point.
Okay.
And so I was curious for our discussion. It's on my mind. It's not that I'm looking for y'all to solve the problems of the world or you, since Uncle Mo not here, but just curious as to why the point of the women is being missed of that 40%. Why are they missing that? That's what's on my mind. If you got an answer, great.
You know what? That's fantastic, because here's the thing. I think that there is a mild comparison to be made with what I said before, because if you're a dude reacting like that, that says something.
Yeah.
So mention what I mentioned as flag behavior before. If you're overreacting to this, that's flag behavior for you as a dude. If I would warn my female proteges, yo, that's flag behavior. Why is he tripping over that?
Okay. All right. Well, flag behavior, that's going to be a new one in my vocabulary, so to speak.
One time for the red shirt. Shout out to Tiger Woods on Sundays. Legend.
Well, he got his new line too, Sunday Red. It's a little outside of my golf price point. Yeah, really? he called it something. He left Nike, got a new line, Sunday Red. I respect the look. He got a golf course shaped like a tiger. It's pretty good. It's outside my golf price point. I ain't, I'm not paying $100 for a shirt.
If it's outside of yours.
Yeah, it's I'm not buying. We'll see. I'll keep an eye on it. He may come out with a design I like.
If it's outside of yours, it ain't happening for me, bro.
Like, I don't think Tiger's gonna want to play golf with me. But all that to say, I didn't think flag, but I think your point is well taken, because on both sides, I think if you legit think you're safer with the bear, male, female, however that goes, you need to watch a couple of these National Geographics. You don't want it with a bear.
No, you don't need to. Survival of the fittest.
Koala bears mess you up. So let the bears be. But I think understanding I know what it's like to walk in a woman's shoes, especially a woman's shoes when she's scared.
May I say something real quick?
Go ahead.
I want to seem insensitive. I don't want to make fun of those who simply haven't aligned yet.
Elaborate.
Because me just being dismissive and saying, hey, if that's your response, you have daddy issues or something like that, that could come across as dismissive. Whereas some people are just at a point in their path where they haven't figured it out yet. They haven't aligned yet.
Too. I like
so
that too.
I like pseudo disclaimer. That's all.
Okay. All right. Well, again, this not a solve the problems of the world topic. It is on my mind. I was curious to your perspective.
That's a great topic, my dog.
Yeah, I think we'll run it back. We have some friends of the show that I'm sure would enjoy to dialogue with us, because it's been coming up more, the men women relating, and men in this instance, there's plenty things to poke at women about and be critical, but I think in this instance,
that's a nice shirt.
Yeah, Legacy Wear. Shout out to Legacy Wear. We'll give them their props, sponsor later.
Yeah.
But I think
nice shirt,
there seems to be a trend. Maybe it's misleaded. People who haven't aligned yet, but it seems to be some misunderstandings unfolding still about, as men, women relate, but really understand how vulnerable women are when they go out on dates with us, when they allow us into their spaces, when they go out and just trying to kick it with their girls, the male aggression has impact. And we know that there have been some deadly outcomes as it relates to it. So I'll leave it there. We'll come back to it. I think it's definitely worth talking about. Okay.
I hope we do.
All right. So headliners. So interestingly enough, as much as we talk about hip hop has made its way to the headlines. The Washington Post, the Today Show, Good Morning America, CNN, NPR, and specifically the beef between Drake and Kendrick Lamar. So many places to go with it, but I'll just stop there and ask you, where are you with the beef as it stands today?
Where am I?
Yeah.
Euphoria. No, pardon me. Hip hop euphoria.
You're euphoric about the beef between Kendrick and Drake.
I am in a state of hip hop euphoria.
Okay. I could guess.
I chose that bar very specifically, half a bar.
Tell us why.
Very specifically. Hip hop euphoria. I love it. Why.
You love it?
I haven't researched bars since Nas and Jay. I haven't cared enough to research the metaphor or the entendre in a discrepancy between two MCs since Nas and Jay. That's why I am in a state of hip hop euphoria. I'm feeling young again. It's like that new.
So the new that came back round, or new?
It's new.
New. Okay. All right. What I find interesting about that is I feel like, as there are two camps, a Drake Kendrick camp, in just what this beef is, there at least two, there's at least two, maybe a three, if not four camps. One of the camps is a la Charles Barkley, two grown ass men arguing, okay, we hear you, respect, you tap out. One of those camps is your camp that is loving the depth, loving the research. I got, my music chat. I mean, it's so as I step away for a few minutes, it's 100 missed texts. Dial, with another post of somebody that's found a fourth or fifth entendre in what Kendrick has said. Another source to what the term he used means. People taking hours of their time to, Rap Genius, shout out to Rap Genius, break down, understand word by word, lyric by lyric of Kendrick in particular. You do a little bit with Drake, but Drake is, if there's a depth, Drake is up here, Kendrick doesn't appear on the screen. Then there's another camp that's like, damn the research. If I can't listen to what you're saying and know what you're saying, then you've lost by default. I don't want to have to Google my songs. I want to be able to listen to it, bump to it, and keep going. That being said, this one is unique. Never before have we had the rap beef go back and forth in real time. Nas and Jay, we've had it go in real time.
Remember, the mixtapes was the way to do it back in the day, but a lot of them songs are lost on the streaming era. A lot of songs didn't make it from cassette to CD. A lot of songs didn't make it from CD to streaming.
No,
especially backpacker underground type ish.
That's fair. So let me clarify. I meant we got 3 songs on May 3rd, and another song May 4th, and another song May 5th. So there's been rap back and forth, but I'm talking about on the clock. Like,
or pull up on a radio station and drop a freestyle.
We were still digesting 616 in LA and then reacting to Family Matters, and then Meet the Grams dropped, right? Like, that ain't happened. And so that's that
in
part.
This era, yes.
So that's that part. But then there's the part of what they're actually talking about, right? And how they're talking about. And so for you have Rap Euphoria. Meet the Grams, I think, was too much for me. Meet the Grams was too much for me. Talking to, a letter to his son. And I'm not saying that he shouldn't have did it. I'm not saying it in a bad way, because I feel similarly with Drake using Tupac and Snoop. I was like, Tupac, Drake, like with the West Coast, like that felt like a mistake, but I see your move. But the way the Meet the Grams ended, I don't foresee a comeback from this. I don't see, Nas and Jay squashed it. Ice Cube, Dr. Dre squashed it. I'm not foreseeing a comeback from this, because I perceive that Kendrick Lamar legitimately despises dude. He used the word hate in Meet the Grams. And I think he said hate some couple other times. So I think he legitimately despises Drake. And so I don't see them dapping it up on stage and just labeling it a win for hip hop.
You're absolutely correct, Sia. So here's the thing. All those other rivalries, beefs, or confrontations that you compared it to in terms, yeah. So I agree with you. The one that you failed to mention, and I think it's the one that it's most like, is Ja Rule and 50 Cent in terms of the way that there's no dapping it up here.
Did Ja Rule even clap back against 50 Cent?
Yes, and he actually did a good job.
Okay.
But it was suffocated because 50's onslaught was that good. The Blood in My Eye album actually had some good replies. And to be honest, if you go to try and get those same songs, if you download the album right now, the songs with the best replies you cannot get even if you download it, because 50's done a very thorough job of implementing the 48 Laws of Power.
50's connected. Okay. All right.
Okay. So like some of the best replies are on songs that you can't even get if you download that album, Blood in My Eye. To be real with you. Well, those were really good replies, some of them, lyrically speaking.
Well, but Drake tried to cease and desist like that. So maybe that Drake tried to cease and desist like that. So maybe that's some of what you're talking about. That 50.
Hey, man, look, here's what happened. 616 in LA was the metaphorical equivalent of an uppercut that was so good it got Drake to the ground.
Okay.
He tried to get back up and scramble with let me make sure I get the name right.
I got Family Matters.
Family Matters.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. But just like a boxing match, there's that slip and that counter immediately. And think about the metaphor here. There was a slip and a counter immediately because he dropped it so Kendrick dropped his reply so promptly. It was the equivalent of slipping a punch and landing a better one.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So, and he landed a better one. And so his better punch, if I have to give it magnitude, it was damn near Dexter. That's as much meat as you could cut off of a human being without killing them.
And Meet the Grounds.
Yes.
Yeah.
He surgically cut as much off of this man as you possibly can without letting him die.
Well, I think
and
to
then
that
he
point,
came back with a dance record.
Yeah, it was
over your corpse, metaphorically speaking.
Yeah, that's
what are you talking about? In a weekend, he handled you in a weekend, and that also might be an entendre for somebody else that you have issues with. Wow.
Well, Drake came back with the Heart Part 6.
Yeah.
That didn't. Where does that fit in your boxing metaphor?
Where's the fit of yours?
Well, if he was,
you swing while you falling down.
If
you swing while you falling down.
He fought. He still swung. So it seems like he was able to stay on his feet. He was saved by the bell. You know, he was able to stay on his feet.
No, it didn't.
To ding, ding,
no,
ding.
It didn't.
Is he?
You said he knocked being out? A great moderator right now and trying to play devil's advocate, but you and I both know he didn't.
No, I'm watching.
No.
It was the fight.
Hey, okay, keep the boxing metaphor. If you're falling backwards in your swing, how good is that?
I'm not suggesting it was good. I'm just saying he was up enough to. I'm proposing.
You could swing while you're falling down, dog.
To swing back.
You could swing while you're falling down, Ci. We went to middle school together. Stop this.
That's what I'm trying to get to. So you're saying that the Heart Part 6 was nothing. That was
It's a swing while you were falling down, and low key in the third verse, you hit a concession of victory. No,
yeah.
no,
He
you
said he not
swung while falling
responding.
down. That don't like
That didn't do
okay.
nothing.
It's not for me.
Okay.
No, now if I was to just to go off poetry, the Heart Part 6 is good poetry, and he's trying to taint um a title line that is almost indigenous to Kendrick's brand. The heart part, whatever. The heart part,
Right.
whatever.
Right. Same
like,
thing
so,
Kendrick did with 616 in LA.
Exactly. Because, and I've been on this podcast before saying that one of my favorite versions of Drake is Timestamp Poppy.
You did.
When all
you
of his songs where there's a timestamp, he seems to be snapping. So in those, based on those, I actually expected him to do better in a battle. I was disappointed by the bars in the timestamp songs, because when it came down to this particular battle, let's be straight. I want to be clear. What we just witnessed is a battle between hip hop and rap. They've never been the same. Kendrick is hip hop. Drake is rap. Period.
What's the distinction?
If you don't understand it off that, look, you got to pay me to explain it after that.
So what is the difference between hip hop and rap as it's showcasing in this battle with Kendrick and Drake?
Hip hop has always been embodied in artists like Public Enemy. Back then, Poor Righteous Teachers, Kendrick Lamar. There has always been an element of consciousness and responsibility to the culture, or depending on where you sit, subculture, to the indigenous or indigenous related without a voice that's trying to find a voice. Hip hop has always been about that.
Okay.
Hip hop speaks to consciousness and culture. Rap speaks to the monetization. That's why the greatest MC and the best MC might not be the same thing. The best MC might have sold the records. The greatest MC is better with words, which is RAP, rhythm and poetry, what that's all about.
So, it's interesting because similar to you, I define hip hop as a culture. And I think I can take from you culture and consciousness. Rap for me is the action of rapping. It's an act. It's, have a beat, have a tune, talk in rhythm, in sync. Even, today add a little singing, whatever, but rap is the action.
Little auto tunes, let's go.
Yeah. So, I don't distinguish it. It is a genre, I guess, at this point. It's a genre, but rap to me is more the action. There's plenty of people can rap, plenty of people can freestyle, plenty of people can give you a bar, but it doesn't, hip hop. When I think hip hop, when I talk hip hop, as we talk about hip hop, I'm thinking culture. But in the debate, why is Drake not hip hop?
Respectfully speaking, I don't know if he's ever okay. Oh, let's go back. Look, civilian fan. That's all I really am. The very first thing that me, and you know me, Jansport and composition book in the Jansport since 19 whatever, right? The minute, the second, the moment that any, whether visual, audio, any photon reached me that said, you didn't write your own lyrics? Oh no. Oh no. You'll never be in the top 5. You'll be lucky to be in the top 10. Settle for where you are, buddy. So when that popped off years ago, you already were kicked out amongst. Okay. I look. I don't know. Look, if there's a backpack organization that I need to pay dues to, yo, reach out to me, fellas. I'll sign up. I'm a self-proclaimed, self-diagnosed backpacker from the tape, because I'm old enough to listen to cassettes of Rakim and stop the cassette to write his words down in a composition book. All right? And that's the composition book that, listen, even if I didn't have my math book, I had that composition book when I got to school that day. I've loved this since I got here. You know what I'm saying? I've always loved the battle of words. One of my older cousins, when I was in the Bronx, took me to a basketball court, a park in the Bronx, where I got to witness people battling like face to face in a cipher in the Bronx. And that was within 6 months of me like arriving in New York. It was so damn cool. This battle of words and wit. It was, and look, there's probably a bunch of them damn jokes that I didn't get. In hindsight, yeah. But it was so cool at the time. Man, I've been impressed. That was one of my first impressions of America, was like hip hop in the Bronx. That being said, as far as this battle goes, here's what I saw. I saw Kendrick beat Drake in every measurable category. He took various Drake trademarks and weaponized it against him lyrically. He homaged other greats and weaponized it against. Look, all right, C.I., tell me that Meet the Grams, at some point, tell me you didn't think of Eminem.
You know.
But now, and even if you didn't, now that I mention it.
Well, you know, I didn't think of Eminem, but I think if there was somebody he channeled, you know, where I sense Eminem is the psychopathy of it. You know, that's, you know, because I was disturbed. You know what I mean? I felt, to your point, I felt how I felt after some of Eminem's tracks, where it's like, you know, lyrically witty, you know, he did that thing on that song, but I ain't comfortable with that in my vibration. And Meet the Grams, I listened to it twice, and I was just like, you know, I'm good. I don't like it like this.
But here's the thing.
Go ahead.
That's part of the point. He is so skilled to make you feel so uncomfortable with his words. That skilled to make you feel that uncomfortable with what you're listening to. And I like to think about the fact that you've listened with more comfort to NWA, Scarface, and numerous other albums that has had megatons of violence included in the storytelling. But you didn't shut it off after twice. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Listen, I was very clear in my circles that when this thing first started, I didn't think Drake had a chance. You know, when it was the three of them, I didn't think Drake had a chance. J. Cole dropped out. Drake, he had push-ups. He did what Drake would do, but I'm not surprised at what feelings and emotion Kendrick Lamar evokes, because that's who he has been. And in this, people have questioned him as a lyricist. And I for me, Biggie Pac, I vote Pac. Pac wasn't the lyricist that Biggie was, but it was Pac's the energy he invoked. Kendrick Lamar isn't Pac, but he evokes energy, and I think he's great with lyrics. I think he does exceptionally well lyrically.
They not like us.
But all that to say, at the end of the day, I'm curious to see where we go next with this. But through May 5th, at the release of The Heart Part 6, Kendrick is winning the battle. We'll see if Drake will leave it at he won the battle, because like you said, in The Heart Part 6, Drake said he wasn't responding anymore. So I probably wouldn't respond anymore either.
Concession.
Yeah, I think so.
Softcore concession.
Hopefully, I think he needs to let it go, and just now. There's violence. Somebody shot up something of Drake's. Somebody spray painted something of Drake's. I definitely don't condone that. That's when we talked about this last time. That's the thing we said we didn't want to happen out of this. But so we'll see where Drake leaves it.
I'm not smart enough to know if there are any connections. I would just like to point out some public information. There's an executive with EXO. Drake is OVO in terms of company, label, affiliates, management, click, crew, organization, whatever. There's OVO and EXO, Toronto politics, whatever, as far as those companies go. Yes, within the last 48 hours of this taping, there was an incident at Drake's crib. Within 8 days before that, there was an incident at EXO executives, his crib, where his security guard experienced something similar. So I'm not smart enough. I'm just sharing some things.
Yeah, for our little part in it, beef all you want, keep it peaceful in the streets.
Yeah, that sounds like other Toronto street politics to me. That doesn't sound like Kendrick versus Drake. Keep them separated.
Fair enough.
Some people have been the common factor in a lot of negative products.
Okay. All right. Well, I think we'll leave it at that. We'll be right back. This is Unsolicited Genius. Welcome back to Unsolicited Genius. What in the sport? So we deep into the NBA playoffs at this point. We are in the second round. My Heat are gone. And it was time. So with where the playoffs sit, my Heat, your Lakers, Mo's Magic are all at home. What are you seeing, ascertaining from the teams that remain?
There are, previous episodes of this podcast where I said, watch out for Ant-Man. So
You did.
there's that. That is the only series so far that I've went out my way to actually watch a game so far. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm okay catching the highlights first half, first quarter, last half, second quarter, whatever, of another game, of any other game. That's the only one where I cared. And I saw what I needed to see very early on.
You real.
In both. So that's how I feel about that.
You pointed out Ant-Man. You called it. You said it. I am an Ant-Man fan. Let the record reflect at this point. You know, at the start of the season, I was just watching with curiosity. But today I am a fan. I think he is that man. And what I'd said when we talked last time about the playoffs, the Eastern Conference, I don't care. Like I'm trying to watch these games, but I literally dislike these teams. You know, the only one I'm a little soft on is the Cavs because I got a homie that's a Cleveland fan, but they got their championship after LeBron left the Heat, so there's no love there. But the Pacers, Knicks, like I watch when it's on. You know, Brunson is, he's balling, and at this point, my Heat don't have to face him, so I can just say that out loud. Like Brunson is a baller. But I don't like the Celtics, so it's tough watching the Eastern Conference games. I was big in watching the Clippers Mavs when that was going on. I watched the Thunder on periphery just to see what this young team does, but I am surprised ish that the Timberwolves are up 2-0 on Denver, and that includes 2 games in Denver. So I think the world needs to know Anthony Edwards is here, and he's young, and I think if the world is on notice, the league has been on notice. The league has been watching him, playing against him, trying to see. So he's doing it now. But I think the rest of the world, when these playoffs are over, Anthony Edwards might be that household name because he's balling.
Certified dog. I remember seeing him in college. I'm pretty sure it was Georgia. He was a Bulldog. Just there's a certain purity of reckless abandon that is pseudo innocent. It is fantastic. His footwork is throwback to the 90s, predominantly. And it's just fantastic to see, especially in terms of mid-range and paint work. Very throwback footwork. I love seeing it. Even the dog is throwback. The kind of dog in him is, honestly, most basketball fans thought that breed already died. They didn't think any more of that breed existed.
We did.
And you see it in him, and maybe this year you're wondering, does Wemby have it? Because if you see it in him and Wemby, oh, NBA about to bring a lot of people back that have been casual for the last 24, 25 years.
I think Charles Barkley, I mentioned him earlier with the rap beef, but another segment, TNT, that I saw, I forget, I don't know what game it was after, but he had that to be a NBA great, to be Hall of Famer, to still be in the game. He's definitely one who's been critical of player performance and individual performance, team performance. But he said with Anthony Edwards, with Brunson, with your boys out in Boston, with Joker, with Luca, with the rise in OKC, he had that look like, and he made the statement that the league is in good hands. He looked like he was able, from his role and where he sits on the hierarchy of things, that he felt like now it can be handed down. So, Larry Bird, Magic, Michael, Barkley, Utah. Then to your point, there's that, Shaq, Kobe, AI, they did their things, but there was a collective void.
Can I use the cliche? Can I use the
Sure.
cliche first?
Sure.
It's a changing of the guard.
Yeah, it's a changing of the guard. All right, so I think that's a good way to summarize it. That the NBA playoffs are going on. We're not excited about all the games. That's not the team's fault. That's just where we sit in our fandom. But a changing of the guard is unfolding.
I still have to say, even though some games are more interesting than others, I still have whatever to say. So I'm willing to follow you wherever on that.
No, that's it. It's we got the Thunder, Mavericks, rather, Timberwolves, Nuggets. Let's see, Celtics, Cavs. Who cares? Pacers, Knicks. Let's see.
Shout out to the New York fans, man. I'm happy for y'all.
Well,
however long this lasts, I'm happy for y'all.
Raga. All right. So are you entertained? What have you been listening to, Brother Craig?
Nothing but Kendrick versus Drake.
Okay.
And then as a casualty of these things, the collaborations that I'll never hear again. So I've been listening to a lot of like Drake Ross collaborations, and just collaborations that I know I shouldn't expect to hear again, if not forever, at least for 5 to 10 years, because politics, loyalties, and contracts. Like,
right.
I just kind of, so that's kind of where I've been at, dog. Like I haven't cared about most rap, hip hop, whatever beefs. And dog, I'm old enough, dog. I admit, after Biggie made the song "What's Beef," I can't use the word beef so loosely. I hate hearing it.
I dig it.
They're using it too loosely. And I don't know if like Biggie was the equivalent of a Supreme Court justice in my teenage eyes, but once he set on record "What's Beef" as a song, put it in writing and published it, like after that, it just became weird to use the word beef if it didn't meet the standards that Biggie set forth in that song. I know I'm weird.
Well, but are you establishing that what is transpiring between Kendrick and Drake is beef? Is that meet the definition of beef?
That would think. I believe that it's what because here's the thing. Beef has turned what we call beef in our era is on site in this era. Whereas this era thinks beef means you just have an argument or disagree with somebody. No! That's not what it meant when we learned it, bro. when the calendar year started in 19 blank blank, beef as we learned it for well over a decade is equivalent to what these 2024 kids call on site.
Okay. All right. Well, you know,
So there's like a little mistrans, like there's a little offness there. So like, or maybe that's just cognitive dissonance that I got to deal with. Because I'm calling it beef. I guess I should accept this new definition. But have you accepted this new definition, or are you trying to use ours and pass it off as like, I don't know what you're doing here? I don't know.
Well,
but at the same time, I feel like Kendrick got the assignment.
Well, I think so. Where I sit, it's a beef. Like these two gentlemen are beefing. You know, I don't know what Rick Ross is doing. I don't know what, you know, who else have I seen? We talked about Lupe. You know, I don't know what everybody collectively is doing in this dynamic between Drake and Kendrick, but Kendrick and Drake, in my opinion, are beefing, predicated on Biggie's definition of beef.
Got it.
Yeah.
So somebody gonna get punched in the face when they see each other.
I don't know.
Or might get punched in the face.
Yeah, I don't imagine them being that close. I don't see. You know, I'd be intrigued. Let's see if they ever get that close to each other.
You're right.
Because
we're looking at two different kinds of men.
I wouldn't imagine that Drake wants to be in Kendrick's presence anytime soon. So, you know, but it's all entertainment till we know otherwise.
I got a question. So, are you on? Have you chosen a winner in this beef or this contest between two?
Yeah, it's Kendrick to me. Is, you know, I hear in fact Mace and Cameron at one point. I don't know about through the weekend, but going into the weekend, they gave it to Drake. Like I said, there's people who don't like the research. There's people who just don't like depth and, you know, don't like having to dig to understand their songs. But I give it.
Even if you don't do that, he did better. He did better at using. He took the other guy's style, weaponized it against him. When the other guy tried to use and weaponize using AI, guys from his city, he authentically, he's not like us, is the greatest response ever to that AI track. Listen. It is the greatest. It is a great response overall, but specifically to an AI track where a dude from outside of your city tried to weaponize icons from your city against you, as if to talk about you as a disappointment, you know, like you were one of the guys that let Nas down again, right? That's crazy. So you flipped it, and not only in the same song did you flip that, where you like, okay, you represented your city. This that because he mimicked and he kept switching up flows everywhere between 8 to 12, 8 to 12. He kept switching up flows from different California artists, like subliminally shouting them out. He was using all kind of local language that some of it I, you know, just because of a chat I'm in, I know, just, and the rest I don't know. But the fact that I didn't know it, I kind of knew it was like local shit. You know what I'm saying?
So Cameron and Mace have updated their voting. So going into the weekend, they were giving it to Drake. Coming out of the weekend, they give it to Kendrick. So to answer your question, okay. I think Kendrick got it. He's winning. If not one, he's winning. But again, as I read through the internets and others' reactions, there's that camp that just doesn't vibe with having to dig deeper
You're
in
right.
their music. So, it's
Whatever.
perspective. All right. So I've been listening to keep the theme going. I like that BBL Drizzy, man. That thing catchy, man. I can't say I know a lot about Metro Boomin, and I know he had the album with Future, but if he was able to if his entry, as I talk about others entering, being that he was an original part of it because of Kendrick's verse on him and Future's album, that BBL Drizzy hot, man. And hearing different people spit on it, rap on it, like to me, you talk about rap euphoria. I enjoy that. Most of them are dissing Drake, so I feel like they're piling on at this point. But that being said, that beat is hot, man. That beat is hot.
Let me tell you something. I love the phrase "instrumental."
Yeah. Yeah.
I love
Has
the phrase.
Has there been a instrumental before?
Maybe there was some that was accidental, but this one was intentional.
Yeah. That the best instrumental or this instrumental used in the disc to me is that Nas Ether, which Kendrick incorporated in Not Like Us, which again speaks to the depth of dude and his genius as a hip hop artist. But the BBL Drizzy, for him to make it and be like, yo, y'all go ahead and just do what y'all want with this beat, I think that's somewhat live. That's live.
It's
I
a
like
flex.
That's live. Yeah, that's
a flex.
That's real. Mm-hmm.
It's like, yo, not only have I provided a hot ass track as a instrumental, but this hot track that is a instrumental that, oh yeah, remember I said it was a hot track, is a throwaway. I'll let everybody have it for free.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Like there's a specific kind of flex going on there. I don't know if everybody caught that. That is a very specific kind of flex.
Yep. All right. What have you been watching?
Well, I aspire to be transparent. So, honestly, it's between basketball, DJ Vlad, Rory and Mal, and Joe Budden.
What why DJ Vlad? What are
just
you
because he
ascertaining
happened to
from
pop
DJ
up?
Vlad?
I don't think I got to the end of the interview.
Okay.
I don't even remember who he was talking to. Like, so yeah.
You just
it
casually
I'm just being transparent. Okay. I'm including him because he popped up.
Okay, so you watching hip hop and basketball. All right. I caught Tom Brady's roast.
I saw clips.
It was a lot. As I talked, reached my limits with Kendrick and Drake. They pushed the envelope.
How different is it?
Because how many times can Kevin Hart say F Tom Brady, right? Like F you Tom, so it's like, okay, let's keep it going. And it was long. It was 2 hours long. So it was a little long, but Tom Brady, he got to close it out. So I thought he did a great job, knowing that he's not a comedian, but being able to clap back at the way people came at him. Him allowing himself to just be roasted like that, to know what his legend is, to only have imaginings of what the dynamic is with his ego. I think the loser is probably his ex-wife, Giselle, just because she was the butt of a lot of the jokes directed at him, but it's, it's her life too. So to
I
be
have a question for
expected,
you.
to be expected. Go ahead.
Actually, I meant to ask you this earlier. So between this and what we spoke about earlier in the rap battles, bringing up exes and significant others, is it
So,
past the line?
um, good. That's a great question. So I think the kids in the rap battle, the kids go past the line. I think Tupac opened up the line when he said, fuck your bitch and the click you came, right? Like that. Okay. All right. So he did that. So I think there's a willingness to accept the relationship jabs. Um, and so for me, with the Brady jokes, because they were directed at him, she moved on with her life. Ha 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 ha. Right? They were directed at him, but for 2 hours, they were about her. You know what I'm saying? So not
Yeah.
because a line was crossed necessarily, and I know she had a reaction to it too. She was angered or upset about it.
Oh,
But it
ambulance.
was just a lot. It was a lot of jokes about her specifically. If it was one or two comedians, maybe, but it was just a lot. But the star of the show, so for all the heavy hitters, the roasters, and Kevin Hart was the host and top roaster. He got the most airtime, I guess, of all the comedians. Nikki Glacier, she won that. She got a standing ovation for her set. I felt like she out joked Kevin Hart. She out joked some of the other comedians that were present. So overall, I enjoyed it. It was just long. It was just long. So after a while, it was like, okay, it's hard to come up with new jokes. Drew Bledsoe was there. Shout out to him for allowing himself to be the butt of jokes, knowing how his role position was usurped by Brady. So overall, I thought it was good. If you like Tom Brady, if you like football and have any feelings about Brady, like or dislike, I think it's worth the watch. Just know it's 2 hours and you don't have to watch it
No,
straight.
I'm at the very least, what you said about Nikki Glazer, whatever she is, I'm gonna check it out, especially if it's Glazer.
Yeah, she was funny. She was funny. What you been reading?
Um, I've slowly gotten back. Well, mostly I told you my notes. Like I've read these books over the years, and I've taken notes on them, either whether in the composition book or in the margins. And in some cases, I never went back to review the notes and just the knowledge that I thought I was supposed to be getting from these books. So I've been reading my notes a little bit, and out, not to a particular depth, it has led me to get one Ikigai, even though I couldn't find it before we started taping, out of out of the storage. And the other one I got out of storage is They Came Before Columbus, Ivan von Sertima. It's, you know, my style is very Montessori, right? My curiosity leads me to a certain place, and now that's where I'm at.
Okay. So I am rereading A New Earth. It's full title: A New Earth: Awakening to Your New Life's Purpose, by Eckhart Tolle, Tolle. Not the first time I read it, but the last time was quite a number of years ago. So much so, it was before I started my coaching practice, before I went solopreneur, before the podcast. So a lot of life has happened since my first read, and to know it was impactful, it's almost like I'm reading it for the first time, because the application of the ideas and the concepts are just hitting me different. I've elevated, I've raised my consciousness since that last read, which the last read helped push me into. So it was beneficial in that regard. But it's helping me articulate some things differently when it comes to, in my own head, as I apply the tools and principles to myself, but also in how I communicate ego, in particular in my coaching practice to others. So great book. And even you and I talked a couple episodes ago, you asked the question, what is sin? And I talked about several inputs, simplifying the definition into lack of belief. But in A New Earth, and one I probably resonate with the most is missing the mark. I think the Greek meaning of sin, it translates back to missing the mark. So I think as you and I had our religious and spiritual talk a couple episodes ago, included in The New Earth is a reminder of a probably clearer definition of sin. But great book. Anybody looking to elevate consciousness from where they are, this would definitely be a good input for that journey.
That's true.
All right, on that, we'll take a break and be right back. 30 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 30. We'll be right back. Wherever we are, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, like if it's something to be liked, subscribe if it's something to be subscribed to, and follow. That's how we grow our reach. That's how we grow our brand. Welcome back to Unsolicited Genius. Before we get you out of here, don't forget to like, subscribe, follow, and share wherever we are. YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, TikTok. Like, subscribe, follow, comment, share, engage. We're here for it. Shout out and happy belated birthday to the super producer, Joe Nitty. He added one more candle to that cake. Congratulations. Happy for you. Celebrate you. We love you and thank you for all that you do. Thank you to our sponsors, Legacy Wear, where your legacy awaits. Find out more about them at www.legacywearus.com. I have on my shirt. Megacore CBD, broad spectrum hemp derived CBD, the way nature intended. Learn more about them and all the healing and feel better mechanisms contained within CBD at www.megacorecbd.com. Aura Rainwater, hydrate and elevate. Learn more about them at www.aurarainwater.com. And Carlton Ennis Ennis Coaching, me, Carlton Ennis Coaching, be your light. Learn more about me, what I do, and how I do it at www.carltonInnisco.com. May 13th, I will be launching a new mastermind series. By the time you hear this recording, we may be in launch mode, but check out the website. We will have other cohorts. Before we get you out, Lindo, any special shout outs you want to make, want to give?
shout out to all the mothers out there. Knowing that Mother's Day is near and in the air. Um, you know, outside of that, uh, we're approaching the end of the school year. If you have an educated friend, reach out to them. They might be frustrated in ways that they are not comfortable expressing. So find your favorite educator and show them some love. And apparently, I showed up, you know, within the last couple of days of work and realized that this is supposed to be Teacher Appreciation Week, which means all week long they either going to give me bread, pasta, or sugar, or the combination of the above with the occasional dazzle of pork. None of that shit I eat, but you know what I'm saying? I'm glad they offer it to me as a sign of love. So it's pretty cool. And yeah, that's what's up. Shout out to that.
Well, I want to shout out all the mamas, but specifically shout out to my mama. You know, we only get one. And, you know, I know all the relationships ain't great. And so I hate it for those who don't have what I have from mine. My number one supporter, my first accountability counterpart, but also, you know, my a compass. So whenever I am lost, whenever I feel lost, perceive myself as lost, whether I was 5, 9, 25, 39, 45, she serves as a point of redirection. And so, you know, for that, for giving me life, for loving my brothers from other mothers as if they were your own. Happy Mother's Day to all the moms, but happy Mother's Day and thank you to my mom. So,
what up?
Tonight's Thoughts of Genius, I will stick with the theme of hip hop. You know, hip hop is art and reality. Despite all of its misgivings, there is a soul in it. And what I believe is as hip hop evolves, we last year celebrated 50 years, that soul will always rise to the top. I don't know what's going on in the inner workings of the Drakes and the Kendrick Lamars and the Rockefellers and what's really happened with Jay-Z and Dame, but it's real. And to the world, if you want to understand a collective of people, if you want to understand, just press play. I can't represent it in heavy metal, country, you know, most rock, though that's not the realm in which I grew up in. I hear stuff I like. I vibe with some things. One of my favorite albums is Katy Perry and Lady Gaga's first album. And, you know, I've said here, I love Madonna. I love, you know, a range of music. But what I grew up in and what has been the soundtrack to my life is that of hip hop. And so when we talk culture and we have an election coming up and they'll be talking about the Black vote, they'll be talking about, you know, they talk Black culture and DEI and Rodney King, can we all just get along? All these things. If you want to understand us, however you define this, if you want to get a feel for what it is that we feel, just press play. It's there. What is transpiring between Kendrick Lamar and Drake is a reflection. Whether it's right or wrong, good, bad, or all the things in between, however you perceive it, it is an art being reflected in our reality. Join us next week, same Genius time, same Genius channel. And for whenever you are, good morning, good afternoon, and good night.
Craig D, Molat. You are listening to Unsolicited Genius.